Jeopardy! New executive producer gets loud, defends new rule, the latest Jeopardy! Season has brought in several changes, including the podcast Inside Jeopardy! Not just that, in the podcast, the game show's executive producer Mike Davis hinted at several new possibilities. However, one of these possible changes didn't sit well with the fans. They fear it would impact the game show in a drastic way. Mike Davis assures that the new rule won't change Jeopardy! Taken aback by the response, on Monday, Mike Davis talked about the changes on Inside Jeopardy! He assured fans that in no way would the new rule affect the existing gameplay. But what is this new rule? Keep reading to find out. Mike Davis took over as the show's executive producer in 2021 after the former EP Mike Richards was ousted. As per The Sun, he joined the podcast host and former Clue Crew member Sarah Foss for the weekly episode. He talked about the possible new rule that will be awarded to contestants that successfully sweep a complete category. The exec also chimed in on the response by fans and clarified. A lot of response, we should say, to my let's say posting over the not yet reined in idea that I floated. It doesn't need to be reined in yet because it hasn't been enacted in any way. But a lot of responses on social media to award a prize of some sort to people who run a category on Jeopardy! That would not affect gameplay. It would not add to that game total. It would not be there on player scores. It would be a separate thing, he continued. Buzzy Cohen begs Mike to think twice on the new rule. However, this isn't the first time Mike appeared on Inside Jeopardy! Podcast. He has appeared twice on the podcast, highlighting the rule twice. He described that the players rewarded for the same might not win the game, but they will be compensated for the rare run that covers an entire topic. However, fans expressed that it would surely affect the quality of the gameplay, even if it isn't about the scores. It's not every day that a traditionally buttoned-up game show like Jeopardy! Makes headlines for controversy, but that's exactly what's happened under the leadership of its new executive producer, Miles Harmon. Known for his energetic and unorthodox approach to television, Harmon is shaking up the decades-old trivia institution, and not everyone is thrilled. At the center of the storm is a controversial new rule that's sending shockwaves through the fanbase and prompting heated online debates. The new rule? Contestants can now wager everything, including Final Jeopardy, without having to write down an actual question. Instead, they're allowed to state their answers in a declarative form, as long as they buzz in first. It's a significant break from the show's iconic answer in the form of a question format, and Harmon isn't shying away from the blowback. In a passionate and slightly fiery press conference earlier this week, Harmon defended the change, calling it a necessary evolution for a modern audience. Dressed in a royal blue blazer emblazoned with a subtle daily double pin, he took the stage like a showman, not an executive, and launched into what sounded more like a TED Talk than a typical cue in the session. Look, this is Jeopardy! Harmon said, pacing the stage. It's smart, it's classy, but it also needs to keep moving forward. We're living in a world where trivia is TikTokified, where the attention span is 5 seconds, and the question format, while iconic, can slow the game's energy. This rule is about momentum, about speed, about making Jeopardy! Feel alive again. Longtime fans and purists are, predictably, less enthusiastic. Social media erupted with criticism, with hashtags like #NotMyJeopardy! And #FarmTheQuestion trending within hours. It's like turning Shakespeare into tweets, one fan lamented on Reddit. Others called the change sacrilege, arguing that the question format is the essence of the game. But Harmon isn't budging. You can love the classics and still remix them, he said. Think of this like jazz. The melody is still there. We've just changed the tempo. His analogy may be poetic, but behind the scenes, sources say the transition hasn't been entirely smooth. Several veteran staff members reportedly voiced concerns in early meetings, warning that even minor changes to the game structure could alienate the very audience that keeps it alive. Harmon, for his part, listened, but ultimately pushed forward. I'm not here to play it safe, he told reporters. I'm here to play it smart. And smart means risk. Interestingly, not everyone is opposed. Younger viewers and newer fans appear more open to the shakeup, with many praising the faster pace and competitive edge. Some contestants, too, are embracing the change, noting that the relaxed phrasing removes a layer of unnecessary stress in high-stakes moments. It's actually kind of liberating, said Nora Patel, a recent contestant. I still think in question form. It's muscle memory. but knowing I won't be penalized for phrasing helps me focus on the trivia itself.